everybody knew what a downwinder was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen. It will never happen. We cannot have a meltdown.
Well, good morning. We have a lot to talk about. You know, a lot going on the Great Pacific Genocide. We have a lot of problems as far as the ocean's going in free fall. So it's outrageous how these rats play. And I don't know. They come out this morning with the numbers out of Coos Bay, the study that the toxins are all in from, you know, antibiotics, people, the cruise line industry done, which they've known that, you know, the oysters. It's all, this is, I'm telling you, people don't want to hear it, but the Obama administration's number one agenda right now is the cover-up of the death of the Pacific Ocean. The Great Pacific Genocide is in full flight. So the emergency closure of Puget Sound is a major, major, major story. It's unprecedented. Now, let's explain how this works. Okay, so you've got the fishing of the Pacific Ocean. Salmon go to sea for 4 to 5 years. Now, but Washington, Oregon, California have put so many resources in the comeback of the salmon, which they made major comebacks. They were thriving, really thriving up to the catastrophe of Fukushima, even, you know, because they go to sea. So it started to collapse 3-4 years ago in Alaska, you know, somewhat. But this is the first batch that's really come back post-Fukushima. They were forecasting giant numbers, and they slowly started to see the numbers coming in from Alaska, slowly started to, you know, reel them on down. You know, so they are reeling the numbers down. I mean, we're talking 1.2 million fish over the Bonneville Dam alone. You know, they're expecting, and then they brought the numbers clear down to 388,000, then 188,000. You know, we're sitting at 30,000. I mean, the season's all but over. I mean, it's collapsed. So, a total collapse. It's unprecedented. It's an ecological catastrophe from hell. So, the way it works, now look, I want people to understand the natives of the Northwest, their creation stories, the fundamental foundation root of their creation story are salmon. I mean, the salmon is the mainstay. I mean, their mainstay. Their incredible mainstay. So, in the creation story, they believe that salmon came first and was willing to give his flesh for the people to live and sustain. Then water came second. Water came and so the salmon could live in there. So the natives, the genocide that went on to the coastal natives is so obscene. Cut down their totem poles, burn them out, freaking kill them, smallpox. I mean, literally execute them. I mean, it's so over the top and outrageous. So the way it's going is in the treaties that have been signed. Now, this is why you see these incredible psychotic rats, including right here in Utah. Rob Bishop, our Congress, these are mentally ill, trying to overturn the Endangered Species Act, which was passed in an overwhelming landslide. I mean, it's kind of like the Yucca Mountain was passed. It's all these acts that were passed in those days. I mean, you know, the EPA Act was, I think it was passed 333 to 1. You know, they've hijacked Earth Day. They've hijacked everything. I mean, they flipped the field 100%. We went from in the early 70s to be so environmental friendly and so in vogue to be environmentalists to now kill anything for profit. I mean, this is an evil, sick culture that the baby bomber has been postured and groomed and hypnotized into their no accountability, these baby boomers. So the treaties are signed and they're concrete. You cannot waver. So the treaties through the tribal is they watch. You know, there's cameras in those dams, so they can't lie and cheat, because that's all they used to do is just lie to the natives, say, oh, no, X amount, when they know, because they want the fish to survive. They're about the long term and the survival. They don't think about short term, let's go fishing. So they're in collapse. Under the treaties, they have to close it immediately. Oregon, Washington, Alaska, all of it. That's the treaties. There's no wiggle room here. So what do? They go into the tribal councils and they start negotiating. They start, you know, offering them different things. The Obama offering them different things, whatever, you know. And the tribal councils have tried to play ball because they don't want to close either, you know. They're like, well, you know, they try to be pragmatic and logical, but it's to the point it's collapsed. There's no pragmatism left. And so they walked out. Now, I have whistleblowers up there. This is a major thing. You know, as far as the anti-nuclear event, you know, the Great Pacific Genocide, hypothesized, said, look, I didn't hypothesize the day Fukushima happened. Look, you have full-blown out freaking meltdowns that have been pushed into the sea. Everybody rants and raves about the cores. The cores are in the ocean. The cores are all over you. North America got hammered, still being hammered. The incident of cancer is spiked post-Fukushima as Obama was flown out. Obama flew out of the country right after with the CEO of General Electric, with the CEO of Westinghouse, with the CEO of Halliburton, the biggest entourage in history, to Brazil. Remember he gave his speech on the White House lawn? It's so outrageous and over the top what they've done. So, and the American populace is so apathetic and asleep. You know, they're working so long. They're working too long. That's, you know, I go back to my answer, the tariff. You know, you work 65 hours a week and trying to neo-competitive, keep up with the freaking Joneses, your neighbor. It's not who I am, it's what you think I am. Fishermen can't fish, you know, surfers who can't surf, skiers who can't ski. It's outrageous. It's over the top. So, they walked out. No, I knew this right when it happened, right as they walked out. I've got whistleblowers in there. They said, fuck you, fuck Obama, fuck the whole thing. You fuckers are just killing us. I mean, and they issue a statement. Our people are starving for nutrition. That's the nutrition. Now, I want people to know that this is very important, that people know this. The fish that are being caught and coming in are underweight, grotesquely underweight. The numbers are, I mean, and they were expecting record numbers. They're not pink. A lot of them are pure white. They're pink. They're whitish. You know how deep red, pink. That's the nutrition. That's nutrition. The natives know that. A native eats a pound of freaking salmon a day. I mean, that's what they do. That's their mainstay. It's their creation story. I mean, those incredible creatures. You know, they're as sacred as the buffalo. You know, the sea really, the most sacred animal to me is the tuna. You know, sand tuna, the silver streak. To this day, people don't understand their migration. Everybody talks about the saluki being, you know, a cheater, saluki being the fastest animal on Earth. Oh no, tuna. You know, sailors still call them the silver streak. They don't even know they're migrating. You know, this is how sick these marine biologists are, and they don't know how to study the ocean. None of them can study the ocean. I know lots of marine biologists. They're glass house. They run around disposing and pat each other back, regurgitate all information. This is new. This has never happened. This is nuclear fission in the Pacific Ocean. They don't even know what it is. As I call it, bringing star power to Earth, the red sun. That's exactly what it is. They've created a sun on Earth. They finally did it. Well, the sun can give you cancer for 93 million miles away. And you think we understand the sun? Oh, please. Ow. You know, oh, it's just, I mean, the ignorance that is, I mean, it's a generational ignorant populace that is so gone. So the answer to protect the nuclear industry, just like they ruled, the Department of Energy ruled yesterday at Santa Susana, as those suits were filed, that they're not going to admit that they killed all those workers in Santa Susana, the lab, to compensate them. That's the same old playbook. They did the same thing. And look, my dad, real famous guy in this fucking town. I mean, really famous dude. I mean, this beautiful, incredible guy. Young guy, famous family we come from. Infamous family, you know, historic family. He, you know, everybody knew him. Drafted United States Marine into the Korea Theater at Pendleton. His older brother had just come home from Omaha Beach in the Battle of the Bulge, just passed, famous. The other brother, the famous, you know, the younger one, the famous fighter pilot, you know. So he's drafted. Combat ready. Put on PT boats, headed to Korea. Turned around in the middle of the night, loaded on trucks. He's the very first group they did it to. Took them to the Nevada test site. Not the support group, which 60,000, which that was horrible enough because they all died. Not the videos, those videos that you see in the desert of the Marines in the train. I'm responsible for those. Me and my uncle, the ex-freaking retired, you know, high brass from the Pentagon, we sued and sued and sued. I mean, we fought with them for freaking decades about this. We got those released, you know, and the, you know, the famous old Hollywood producer that did the work at the time went in and just researched archives. I mean, a lot of hard work to get just those photographs, not a little bit of footage, but the footage that exists of the early Marines that are right at the blast. So Teller made the decision, there was an argument, you're really going to lab rat our own men. Well, you know, there's all kinds of documents out there. You know, if you lab rat these guys, if you don't kill them in the blast, they're all going to die of cancer. They're all going to die of leukemia, and their offspring. And their offspring's probably going. Teller says, I don't care. We'll do it anyway. That's a fact. You know, Truman played well. You know, that nuclear rat that he was. You know, Russell's baby. The whole nuclear cartel that grew up at Cal Berkeley. You know, they hijacked the agricultural freaking school in California and turned it into the Los Alamos lab, the Livermore lab. You know, I know Livermore's grandson, or excuse me, Lawrence's grandson. I mean, he says, I mean, you'll hear him go off on these mentally ill, schizophrenic freaking, I mean, he goes crazy. So they even lab rat him. He wakes up in a hospital in San Diego, so they had field hospitals set up on site with monitoring switches, all kinds. It was all, you know, a big test set up. They immediately knocked them all out. They killed a lot of them. A lot of them were dead immediately. My dad's words before he died, he says he put his hands over his face, he could see his bones through his face. That was the last he remembered. They put him in field hospitals. They cut all their tonsils out of me. Now, remember, my grandma used to call my dad her beautiful one. This is a guy who never had a cavity in his leg. All his brothers and sisters were very, very, very old. And, I mean, the bloodlines of this family are very historically to live 100 years old. They're all still alive. You know, my uncle just passed, but, you know, he was, I believe, 88. So, they fed them LSD to alter their memories. Of course, they kept them on the iodine, you know, a little bit here and there. And well, what a joke. Here's an iodine tablet, really. So my grandma hadn't heard from him. Nobody had heard from him. My uncle had a lot of clout. Our family's got a lot of clout, you know, with a lot of powerful people. You know, phone calls were making. It's just like the movie. My uncle says, here come the car pulling up to the house. You know, and guys in hats and suits just like the movies, you know, coming in and talking to my grandma. Says, we can't tell you where he's at. We can't tell you what happened to him, but I will tell you he's alive. You know, everybody assumed he was dead, you know, in Korea. You know, and that's how it played out. My dad would not talk. You know, he was a Semper Fi Marine, a Pendleton Marine, and, you know, those guys didn't talk. You know, was he anti-nuclear? So, my uncle sure talked, and my grandma sure talked, and they battled them. So, they not only did not compensate any of those guys, not a penny, not a dime, none of them, 100,000 of them, 40,000 Marines, 60,000 armed personnel. You say, oh, the Compensation Act, Clinton did the thing in 95, we're going to give, nobody got any money. You know, because their records, they just burned their records. They expunged them. They got rid of them. What they did, but we have plenty of photographs and lots of proof. And so this great St. Louis fire is what they blame it on. All the medical records burned, which is a total fucking scam and a total lie. So none of them were compensated, again, to erase history. Same they did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Same they did in Santa Susana yesterday. Same with Fukushima. This playbook is long and historic. That the playbook was set in immediately with the nuclear cartels. Cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. You know, think about Mayak in Russia in 1957. The United States knew. They never reported it. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Because why? Protecting it, because they're in on it together. You know, I mean, this power structure. It's the greatest looting, mass murder in human history. It's a power freaking apparatus that just loots this fucking country. So he died of leukemia later. You know, of course, I was born, you know, this sperm cell lit up. I have a twin sister. That's a mutation by definition. You know, I was very sick born. We were born preemies, my beautiful, incredible mother. That amazing pinup artist, that Woodbury pinup artist. You know, and she didn't even know there was another baby in it. You know, we had a great doctor, Dr. Raskin, another Dane. You know, steroids were new. They shot us up. Preemies, underdeveloped lung, I mean, really, asthmatic, autistic, you know, what a journey, what a fight. Well, now we know, this is my work, that I call them children of the atomic veterans. There's 300,000. They're dying in droves in 40s and 50s. The genetic mutation, just like he said. Einstein said it. They all said it. You do this, you're going to give their offspring freaking cancer and mutate them. So obviously the nose on it. No compensation, no medals, no nothing. Not a medal, not a freaking award, not a nothing. Not a penny, not a dime. You know, there's a memorial at our cemetery that, you know, the people of the community and, you know, our family erected, you know, supreme sacrifice that he's on. You know, so that's how this game plays. Well, the ultimate is Fukushima. This is, I mean, our worst fears. The massive, incredible freaking... Now, I want to really dive into the PR machines that are going after me and other activists, and I want people to know. This has been proven and proven. They're running PR machines out of Edelman in Canada, in Calgary. In Calgary. This spills onto the whole thing. They're paying what they can find any YouTube blogger or anything, any scumbag, whatever. They give them a little bit of money to troll and rat. And they use PR machine. Edelman has people that work for them that troll and rat all day. The NSA, which has veto power, complete power, and this is Snowden's words, not mine. They have, and Robert Scheer, who I know Dr. Scheer, have total control over anything that goes into the Internet. You know, they can do it. They shuffle around. So the emails prove. Snowden released an email says not only are they shuffling anybody reporting activists on anything nuclearism, Fukushima, they're squashing their view count, they're altering their view count, they're moving them around, they're attacking him, they're trolling, they're doing all kinds of things. It's been proven. Now Hillary's emails come out on 4/4 saying just this. We're going after people in the Internet that are reporting Fukushima. Well, I'm the only one reporting Fukushima accurately. I had a video that had 121,000 views. It went to freaking 10,000 views. I've had another one on the Restart Up in Sendai that was on the front page of Reddit. Had 18,000 views in minutes. Google took it down, and they sent me an email and says, well, there's no copyright problem here. There's nothing. We just had to take it down. And I emailed them back, why? Why would you take it down? We cannot disclose the reason. Well, there you go. So this is an old playbook. Look, it's the greatest power structure vacuum in human history, nuclearism. The sugar wars, the cotton wars, the molasses wars, the textile wars, the slave wars, the tulip wars. You can go all the way back. This is the crowning jewel. It's the plutonium wars. The greatest power structure vacuum in human history created as a nuclear weapon is nuclear energy. I mean, they are literally freaking bombs that sit on every place in this country. They can blow one anytime they want. You think about which they did in the Ukraine again in 2014, which we proved it through the reindeer studies in Norway. They monitored those reindeer like wolves. How did they all of a sudden just spike in 2014? We know they blew a militia dump in the Ukraine. You know, the proxy war that's going on in the Ukraine between the United States military advisors. Sound familiar? And, you know, and Putin, this is a board game. You know, it goes back to Waterloo. I was at Vienna, that 200th anniversary of Waterloo. You go back to Waterloo, you know, when the no royals, Napoleon had them whip the French Revolution, Maximilian. It was over. How did they freaking, the Queen and the power, which, by the way, it is so bizarre to me that the English people put up with this in the British faith. Look, the British royal family are not English. They're not even Anglos. look up where they come from. They Huns, they Austrians, it even goes deeper than that. They got Iranian freaking bloodlines. It goes all the way back to the Ottoman Empire. Look it up. It's obvious. Yet these are the people that reign the world and run the world. Still, after World War I, after World War II, the Atlantic Conference, FDR's charter, the UN, no royals, no. So how did they win at Waterloo? They were done. Wellington was whipped. Oh, he called in his freaking... I thought the Prussians and the English hated each other. No, they're cousins. They called in their cousins. Here come the Prussians and freaking joined doing with freaking the English, and they beat freaking Napoleon done. And that was an anti-royal war. Same with the American Revolution. Let's get King George in 1774, 5, 6, 7, had warrants for the death warrants for George Washington. They were like, Hamilton. I love it that Hamilton won all the plays. I do all my work freaking the Hamiltonians. I'm the guy that got Hamilton's grave restored. I'm the guy that originally started freaking Harper. Now, you can look it up online. I've done my lectures there for years. Everybody forgot it, not me. The tariff guy, the first 8 employees of the United States Coast Guard, kept collecting duties to block cheap Chinese goods. We don't want the East Indian Company's cheap goods. We're craftsmen. The silversmith, Paul Revere. We forget all this. So the PR rats and trolls are going after us intensely, and they find just these mentally ill, sicko fucking, low IQ, zero fucking punks just to do their dirty work. And they'll willingly do it because they're sickos. They'll troll, they'll fucking rat, they'll do anything, they'll mix, they'll make videos, whenever. And this kind of stuff that happened to anybody. You're talking, I was officially, legally handicapped. I got leukemia 7 months after Fukushima, as you know. That's very top of the list. AML leukemia patients go right to the top of the list on disablement immediately because it's a death sentence for the most part, and they know that you're completely disabled. Completely. You go into a bone marrow transplant. You want to talk disabled? You can't get more disabled. And so I'm legally handicapped, yet they allow people to threaten to kill me. People come after me, throw all over. The same with Dana Dunford in Canada. He's legally handicapped. He's in a wheelchair. They let people legally free control and handling, yet they arrest him? And then they lie. Daily Mail puts out stuff all over, which we know Daily Mail is owned by the freaking House of Windsor. Again, uranium. Look what they're doing to Prince right now, Daily Mail, and their lies and their smear campaign. It's outrageous. My guess is Prince probably had cancer in him, the same cancer. Now they're coming out and saying he had stomach problems, he has the same symptoms as I had. Which was leukemia, which can mask as AIDS, by the way. It's the same freaking genome, which looks like it is when it's not. You have to bone marrow biopsy. He should have been bone marrow biopsy. My guess, I had tumors wrapped around my lower bowel. It's called OS de novo. I think that's probably what got him. Look, you think he could just pass out in an elevator and die like that? Yes. Look, I'll tell you why. When I got cancer in October, it just attacked my guts like crazy. I thought I had food poisoning. I was acute. I kept going back and forth in emergency rooms. They kept, finally they biopsied me, blah, blah. Finally they said it was carcinoma cancer. I was okay. And then another doctor says it was a death sentence. It's in my liver. Just go home. And I passed out on the bath. I gave up. And just the pain, I passed out on the bathroom floor. My brother found me, or I'd be dead, just like that. And it would have been the same thing. They would have never known what it was because it was before I got bone marrow biopsy. Before the doctors freaking Vincent Hansen stepped in and saved me. And it would have just been, who knows what this guy died of, and we just found him on his bathroom floor. That's Prince. That's why they're having trouble with this autopsy. This the spin he had AIDS, that he was some kind of drug addict is bullshit. Look what they do. They did the same thing to Michael Jackson. Here's what they go, his profile, no will. Here we go again. Vincent Van Gogh, but Vincent Van Gogh did not commit suicide. You do know that. It's been proven. It's been absolutely proven Vincent Van Gogh did not commit suicide. He was shot by that kid with a gun. It's been proven. You go to the Netherlands, it's absolutely 100% concrete proof. He never sold a penny when he was alive. What's his portfolio worth now? Same with Warhol. Look at Warhol. What's his portfolio worth now? No heirs. Prince again. Do you understand? Somebody told me the other day, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Warhol died broke. Are you kidding? Died broke. Warhol's portfolio is the worth of the GDP of several countries combined. Do you realize he made, 80,000 pieces? Do you understand what his work goes for? Same with freaking Vincent. Vincent Van Gogh, one painting goes onto the world market for hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you understand what his portfolio is worth? It's going to be this Michael Jackson. Think about the scam his own family that hated him, and that lawyer that he left and he trusted. Look what they did to him. Oh, they're going to do this to Prince on Balco. Mark my words, with the color purple, you'll have Prince action figures, Prince cartoons, Prince toys. He has 2,000 songs he has refused to release. They'll slowly release it. Oh, here's Taylor Swift today with a Prince song out. Whoever owns it, it'll be the same players. The same players that ended up with the portfolio of Warhol. The same people that wound up the portfolio of Vincent. The same people who end up with the portfolio of Michael Jackson are going to end up with the portfolio of Prince. You know, Prince is going to be worth in death. Oh my God! You think about it. It's okay. For instance, Google Raspberry Beret. The people who own the rights, because he didn't own those rights to that song. You know, he owns a lot of rights to his incredible copyright battle that he had. You know, they screwed him forever. Look, as soon as he died, right over, they knew the value of it. They completely went after everybody and filed copyright infringement on anybody who had it posted anywhere. Immediately, right now, boom, gone. Oh, they got big plans. Remember, not only did his music and his portfolio, his songs are out there, he made movies. This staggering sums. I mean, these are the richest portfolios in the history of humanity. Andy Warhol, Vincent van Gogh, Michael Jackson, Prince. I mean, it's amazing how this, comes to play. I don't know. It's a sad, crazy episode that, the light shines in me that I get, 311s, Fukushima on 311s, 33. I end up entering the bone marrow transplant on 11/11/11. That's impossible. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I don't know. I wish I could figure it out. I surely can't, but I'm going to battle. I know that the nuclear industry is killing the Pacific Ocean. I know the nuclear industry and the cover-up Barack Obama stood there and lied, and I understand the greatest crime in human history is the cover-up of Fukushima. I'm not going into denial, and I can prove that people know, and they're just in denial, and they compartmentalize it, and they, look, you go to YouTube sites like Bagley, BP Earthwatch, Diablo 7, half these guys I started, for real. But they're smart, and they have AdSense accounts. They're making money, and they know they need to turn YouTube into far-right talk radio, because there's a lot of money in that. They know that. That's where you're going to get the viewership. The evangelical crowd who's incorporated that Jesus died so I could be rich. This is all God's will. The apathetic, the aliens, they know they need to spin it there because it's huge money, Twilight Zone on Balco. And their sites go crazy as long as they spin anything as biblical. It was written in the book. We have no control. It's all God's will. We're taking this with us. As long as they go there, because that takes away any personal accountability. Oh, there's nothing we can do. It was written in the Bible. It's God's will, blah, blah. This is the end times. It's generational arrogance. So that's where they spin it. And more power to them. I'm not against them. They got AdSense because they're trying to make a buck. And they're growing incredible sites because that's who America is. That's the America of Vespucci. That's who the United States is. No personal accountability. This is the baby boomer or echo boomer that we are. Children who never, so you think about it. This country had 400% tariffs when we were kids. We had the strongest middle class in human history. No debt. 40-hour works, double time. We had all this power. Not only did this baby boomer, echo boomer children loot all that equity that their parents put up, they went into the future and looted all the future. They're taking it all with them. There's no, wars they refuse to pay for. Budget gridlock they refuse to pay for. Just 0% interest rate for 15 years. We want it all. We want it now. We don't give a fuck about the future. That's what's going on in the salmon. That's exactly what's going on. And the natives don't think that way. So they threw that and they're like, fuck you. We've had enough. And they mention Obama all the time. A bunch of offering, the Obama administration, which is NOAA, which all have seats at the table. It's all about Chamber of Commerce, growth economy, growth economy, growth economy. And look, this economy's in shatters, and so what they do, instead of fixing it, tariffs at the port, extortion, the 1%, the looting, the greatest wealth redistribution to the 1% in human history, is math and numbers. Liars don't figure, or figures don't lie, liars figure. So they changed the way you count unemployment. They just lie. They gave the Fed the ability legally to go in and buy stocks, take control of the stock market, manipulate, to buy bonds. What do you think QE 1, 2, these were all legal until the Bush administration, the military coup of 2000. So we've had, you think about these globals. You think about Bill Clinton had everybody tripped that he was a progressive liberal. Who signed NAFTA and who opened up and handed over Wall Street? Who got rid of Glass-Steagall? Now, if you think Bill Clinton is just the son of this woman and some hillbilly who just killed in a car wreck, this nobody from Arkansas that ended up a Rhodes Scholar at Rhodesia at Oxford, Yale, Harvard, Skull and Bones, the arranged marriage between Hillary Rodham Clinton. I've got a freaking bridge I'll sell you. Rockefeller's baby, Rosemary's baby, Russell's baby. I mean, I keep emailing the sex museum in Vegas because they've got the dress. I'm like, let's run some DNA. Let's see who this guy really is. I mean, trace who the Rockefellers really are. They got control of Saudi family. I mean, it's so outrageous how this royals, and I like how people call it New World Order. Savage and those guys are paid to call it new, to take your mind off history. There's nothing new about it. It's the oldest thing in human. It's royal families, it's monarchies, it's neo-feudalism, it's the feudal system that's reigned forever. It's a quintessential battle that's gone on for thousands and thousands of years. It goes clear back to the Egyptian freaking pharaohs, slavery. It's enlightenment versus slavery. It's that simple. It's the same old quintessential battle as America was the beacon light who fought back. Hamilton. And they twisted him. They changed his legacy. They changed Thomas Jefferson's legacy. They changed it all. They twist free market fairy tales. This country was born on protectionism. 100, this country was born on no debt. The Tariff Act of 1789, before the Bill of Rights. Look it up. Prince used to say it all the time. Why do we count George Washington is the first president when he's really the eighth? Which you can go, it's true. You can go back in, the first president was named Hanson, in the Congressional Congress that was, when the colonists got together. But in history, they decided to go George Washington first because of, and this is even post-Declaration of Independence. And so, the Betsy Ross thing, the whole flag-waving thing, the manipulation of history, the rewriting of history, the changing. The bottom line is this was a tariff war blocking the freaking East India coming from bringing in cheap Chinese goods, Last of the Mohicans, the French colonists that were here, the freaking American colonists that were here, Delano, Franklin Delano, the new quote there, you go back to Teddy, that crazy. That good crazy. The Square Deal, which turned into the New Deal, which now has evolved Ayn Rand, Greenspan, the Raw Deal, back to the feudals. The great beacon light of the middle class of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s of the United States, the greatest, strongest socialized people in world history, the middle class, tax rate 94%. We don't believe in inherited wealth. Inherited wealth was against the law. I come from incredible wealthy. And the guy that founded Gold at Sutter's Mill. You know how much my mom inherited? $30,000. They didn't believe in inherited wealth. They gave it away to the Mormon Church, by the way. That's for the most part. And look how corrupt they've evolved out to be. I mean, now it's a pyramid scheme. A grotesque scheme. Look at Joel Osteen. Look at the NFL. All these nonprofits, they've hijacked NGOs. Oh, I work for an NGO. My slaves are treated better than your slaves. You look, your slaves are in East Turkey at gunpoint, freaking for your slaves are peeling shrimp. Bought and paid for in Indonesia, TPP. What's TPP? I like Hillary. I'm anti-TPP when her lawyers and her participating in the writing of TPP, which is pure slavery. You can't even read it. The 28 pages, 9/11, oh, this is on Balco. So the trolls and the rats go freaking crazy on me. And it's amazing how they can attack a handicapped person, Dana Dunford, myself. It goes all the way back. The whole thing with the boat, that was my work. And I'm so glad that he did it. It's such powerful historical work. My walking up and down, documenting the sea. I walked the whole coast. I've been up and down every square inch of it. For 4 or 5 years after the USS Reagan trial. I'm the only one there in 2013. I'm the only one there. I'm there at the freaking ship when the Little League football practices and the sleepover. I'm there arguing, fighting. I'm there the whole time. I got no traction. I got no platform because Google and YouTube are shuffling me around, number one. Number two. Number three, people can't handle this. This is too heavy. Fish consumption has gone down 60% in the United States, post-Fukushima. That's right, 60%. People know. It's just like a sexually abused child. That person will grow up to be an adult, and they'll end up abusing people. They'll bait people in, they'll do whatever, and they don't even know they're abusing the very people that are trying to protect them. That's how the chain of abuse works, which goes on in this genre incredibly. So people will come forward, they'll bait in, they'll say, hey, I want to be your friend, I want to be your friend, they'll do this, that, and thing, And then subconsciously, they abuse that person in a subtle way, and they don't even know they're doing it. It's the power of the subconscious. That's the power of abuse. By the way, Barack Obama abused child. Bill Clinton abused child. They're both books say it. You know, Harvard Law, Scum Bones, they love those types. Let's see, tall. I mean, every election has ever been won by the taller candidate, except for, and you'll say, well, what about George Bush? George Bush didn't win. Of course, what does it matter? You know, Al Gore, Burr's freaking bloodlines, another Scum Bones. They're all, I mean, every one of these, Ted Cruz, every single one of them traced there. Not Trump, but I wonder about Trump. You know, I don't know. The jury's out. I hope he's Teddy. But I got a hunch he's, you know, in bed with the Clintons. Have you heard one peep from him on Fukushima? Now, maybe this will change when he can get the far radical right nomination, because he's got to play ball. And you go down that freaking evangelical Kool-Aid, which they're not evangelicals. The evangelical movement is Joel Osteen, please. 40 million, Jesus died so I could be rich. That's not evangelical. Born again? That's not born again. That's greed. That's sickening. That's everything that the Christianity stands in the face of. You know, they'll pick and hand-pick, you know, different quotes out of the Bible. You know, let's get real about Jesus. Brown Jew, you know, barefooted freaking, brown-eyed freaking feed the hungry. It sounds like a pretty socialist regime to me. You know, kill the afflicted. You know, take care of your freaking handicapped. Don't just kill them and abuse them and waste them. You know, before that, they just killed them. So that's what they do now. So you're legally, which federal law, state law, local law all prohibits for people to do what they do. To prohibit to do what they do to Dana Memphis. But anti-nuclear activists, ask Karen Silkwood, ask, you know, Nora. I love it. Everybody says, oh, this is like a Nora Ephron movie. She made Silkwood. You know, where's Meryl Streep? You know, she should have won every award. They didn't win anything because they're all in on it. She got cancer, AML, leukemia the same time I did, right after Fukushima. Huh. Just coincidence? She died in the spring of 2012 from AML leukemia. Huh. What's the byproduct? What does the nuclear industry do? What is their greatest weapon? AML leukemia. You know, they killed Karen Silkwood, and then they killed the woman who, I mean, did they do it directly? No, indirectly. It's just like when I say, oh, Obama killed the prince. Indirectly. Look, Obama covered up Fukushima. 32 ships were sent in to entomb Fukushima. That's an unarguable fact. 32 ships were, the admiral, they, you know, I reported this from day one. The admiral wanted all personnel evacuated from Japan. He let them be radiated. We're not just talking the sailors off the USS Reagan, which it's outrageous. She ruled that 2 years ago. The case goes forward. The wills of injustice. It's not going for what I mean, heads they win, tails they win. Because look what they're up against. Kamala Harris raids Peavy and Cherry's house. Again, nuclearism. Builds a case. Has her own words. We got more goods than we even need. Well, she's obviously building a case, and then she refuses to charge because she's running for the Senate, and she's had a talking to. She can't go against the nuclear industry and become a politician in this country. You have to play ball, Hillary Westinghouse Clinton. She is the nuclear industry. Barack Obama, what's Hanford? I'll cover up Fukushima. Look it up. Look it up the video. Google. I want you to Google. Obama asked about Hanford, 2008, while he's running. He says, I got to tell you. Now, think about this. This is a guy, Axelrod, freaking Exelon. The nuclear cartel propped him up. Not my words. Look it up. Hillary ran ads in the swing states of 2008 that Obama was being totally propped up by the nuclear industry. At the same time, he's asked about Hanford. And he says, I don't know what Hanford is. Now, you think about, they're like, oh, boy, we got the greatest puppet in history. You know, John Holden and everybody's the nuclear cartel from Berkeley, the head of science technology team are inside the Situation Room. They're advising him. He doesn't do anything on his own. He's an idiot. You know, we put him on, oh, he has this high out. No, he doesn't. Greener grass. He's not a very freaking intelligent person. He's really not. Everybody thought he was. You know, he's not. Look at the economic. He was green as grass. He's green as grass on everything. You know, nuclear, he hasn't got a clue. He doesn't do anything. He's just a celebrity. He just goes along. You watch his sports center. You know, and by the way, I like how they all said he was an athlete. He could play ball. And then you watch him throw the first pitch out of the game. That guy freaking can't walk and shoot ball. And so he's a fraud. And by the way, he's not black. The African polygamous planted the seed in his mama, but the whitey's from Kansas, pull back the curtain, Toto. I mean, come on. You've been had again. They found this globalist puppet and put him in. What do you think Ted Cruz is? If you think Ted Cruz is an evangelical, let's see, Kamikad Laden at Princeton, Kamikad Laden at Harvard Law, his father, the CIO freaking co-op out of the Batista freaking government, who got political asylum in Austin, Texas. There's pictures all over with Lee Harvey Oswald in the CIA and Ted Cruz's father on the Bay of Pigs. And he was part of the group running the apparatus to kill Castro. CIA's the kids. You know, it blows my mind how they shiny balled you. Oh, Barack Obama is a secret Muslim, wasn't born in the United States, which was all hyperbole. He was, you know, the fact is, an unarguable fact, and even admits it, Ted Cruz was born in Canada. So how's he even eligible to run? I mean, you just make it up because that's the dogma of the media. The truth means nothing to anybody on the conscious level, but in the subconscious level, it means everything. And so people are up against it. They've given up, and so they just throw in the towel. It's all God's will. Enjoy it, bro, on your way out. Let's loot our children. Let's loot our grandchildren. Let's just kill the earth. Fuck our grandchildren. Fuck the future. That's what people in, because that's what baby boomers do. That's what immature children do. Immature child never grows up. Welcome to America, the United States of America. I mean, it's unarguable fact. Look at this freaking, you seen the debt? Oh, that doesn't matter. 0% show, let's just keep building houses. Let's just keep going on. I got cancer, God will freaking fix me. They just lay down and die. I didn't believe it. I would never believe, because I watched my dad fight so hard. I watched Annika fight so hard. I see these people just tooth and nail fight for their lives. Until I was in the throes. I thought everybody fought like that. They don't. I'm inside that hospital. Oh, it's in God's hands. I'm like, no, it's not. Tim Sheldon-Mayes. I make him read the last chapter of East of Eden. You know, remember when Lee says to him, you know, this is the Chinese philosopher Lee. I think it's Steinbeck's best verse. And he says, you know, I killed my own son, which in so many ways he did posture. I mean, that's what it's so great about. You know, you sleep with a, you know, remember what the mama was? She was that then. She didn't just evolve to be the prostitute. She was the prostitute then, the abused thing, you know, and he tried to groom her into being, you know, and the sons, you know, he freaks out and runs off in freaking World War I again, 1916. He's killed, you know, and he's blaming himself. And Lee simply says, right out of the Old Testament, Tim Sheldon-Mayes, men are responsible for their own actions. You know, which we all are. You know, we can spin it out. It's all God's will. It's all the Illuminati. It's all orchestrated from above. We're responsible for our own actions. And if you're, you know, I don't care what belief, if you're Hindu, you're Christian, you're whatever. These control freaks, because these control freaks, and everybody thinks they're some kind of magic people, and they outlive us, and they do everything, and it's total bullshit. They're humans who we just feed them. They're sick with power. They're addicted to power and greed. Obama got so sick in the early days with his fame. You can see those speeches he gave in Egypt and he gave in, you know, Germany. He's just so full of himself, and he's like, oh my God, he's on the highest high, because here's this nobody that's been placed up the Nobel Peace Prize before he even did anything, and he just sucked it up and he just went along with the fame, and he's just like, I'm a celebrity. He's not led anything. He's done zero. Look at BP. He just let him sail off the beaches. Porter Ranch. What about when this guy's, and in the history of the United States, has never had a president who has no accountability whatsoever. None. Nobody even talks about him. I mean, he's just on a celebrity freaking field trip. You know, just going along whatever they tell him to go do. You need to go to, you know, the Saudi royal family on the Queen's 90th birthday and tell them they can't sue for the victims of the 9/11 victims, when we know for a fact that traced to the Saudi royal family. I was a derivative trader, remember? I was an arbitrage derivative trader. They bought puts on the airline, so I'm one of the first guys that identified it. They made fucking hundreds. No, we traced the money. There's a paper trail. We knew the money traced right to the House of Windsor, right to it, right to HSBC in London, right to the royal. We had them. Yet, here we go again. And he stands there and says, you can't sue? Then he goes to the Queen on her 90th birthday. By the way, Prince dies at 90. Or she's on her 90th birthday. He's 57. 57 minus 90 is 33. You know, you can't make all this shit up. It's crazy. So he kills him indirectly. Look, he had hip replacement surgery. You get compromised a little bit in your 50s. I mean, see it over and over and over and over. You get a little bit sick. The radiation is so heavy and so bioclimate, you know, and it's hammering away on you. So normally your body's compromised, and you need to recover, and you need to figure, and the body's got to fight. Well, then you throw in a Fukushima, this radiation, which we don't know is just pounding us. The body's so it can't fight, and so the body you die. I mean, I've never seen people die so acutely and so quickly from these cancers and these. I mean, my doctor said the same thing. By the way, the legislators have put through laws, HIPAA laws through the insurance lobbies, and these corporate whores called politicians, these celebrity politicians, just go out. These, corporate freaking whore attorneys write all these bills. They write it. These people don't do anything. Again, they just hobnob around, celebrity around, fly around. They fly to be, write books, freaking go on television shows. They're celebrity politicians. They don't do anything so that, the lobbyists, freaking lawyers write the bills. They do everything. They've written bills where doctors can't even talk about cancer rates. They've squashed the cancer rate. They changed the laws. You don't even have to report cause of death in an obituary now, so researchers can't even go in. So we don't know. So they squash it, and they can't even talk about the numbers. I mean, it's so over the top, and it's so outrageous. So, we can't get an attorney. The rats and trolls go after us viciously, legally, in so many ways. You go to attorneys who won't even take this on. Which the people, and I talked to a person yesterday, let these people do this. Don't block them. These rats and these trolls that are branding themselves in history and committing incredible crimes against me, against some, against others. I said, let them go. Because I can tell, even if they're hiding in a fake YouTube name or thinking, here's the beauty of this. And this is right from the FBI to me. Kevin, let them go. Because then they create a trail. Once that IP is clicked, once you click anything in the internet, even if you do it anonymously, they can track you down so fast, so easily, forensic 101. So let them keep doing it. Let them keep doing it. At some point, the cases will build. At some point, they're going to have to step in. At some point, this will be exposed because we're going to get whistleblowers, WikiLeaks, we're going to get some snow's going to come forward and say, look, here's this email with Hillary. Here's these people that went directly after Kevin Blanch, directly, and then this freaking thing comes apart. Then this becomes one of the greatest, which it is, the cover-up of Fukushima, the greatest crimes against humanity, the greatest crime syndicate in human history is the nuclear cartel. Look, I know what I'm doing. To take on the greatest crime syndicate in human history with no money at a grassroots level like I've done. My place in time chiseled. It's impossible, but we have to fight them this way. We have to let them go. So we have it because at some point, the powers there be somebody with some integrity in the Justice Department, somebody, a Harriet Beecher Stowe, Peggy Guggenheim, somebody's going to break free with money, with wealth, with time, with strength. Somebody inside the United States Navy, the United States Marine, at some point is going to know all this and say, wait a minute, this is it. I'm not doing this anymore. They're killing the Pacific Ocean. They're going, fuck them. And they stand up, and they gain momentum. And then we take this crime syndicate apart. We expose every single fucking one of them by name. And God have mercy on their souls then. And it's going to happen. Mark my words, every person that attacks, trolls, rats, and they always do it in fake names. Another thing, but they're branding themselves. That's the power of this genre, the power of the internet. These people think this is a chat room. They think they're anonymous. They think they can't be tracked down. They think they can't be traced. That's how ignorant they are. And they do it for chump change. And they allow these people to do their dirty work, Edelman out of Calgary, to do their dirty work. They bait. Here, Kevin, come here. I'll give you this money. It's the oldest playbook in the world. Bait you with a little bit of money. Bait you with something in a vulnerable position and fucking destroy you. I mean, that's what they tried. That's what they did in Canada. That's what they did in Calgary. That's what they tried. They ain't going to work with me, motherfuckers. Keep coming at me. Keep coming at me because the light is shining in me. The good light. All that power. I survived this freaking leukemia and all these people that died in front of me. My light beams around me. If people attack me, beware. Beware at your own peril. At your own peril. And so the reality is the truth. I mean, all I've done is told the truth. The greatest truth, the greatest reality, the greatest prophecy in human history, Kevin Blanch. The great Pacific genocide, Kevin Blanch. You can run, you can go in denial, you can hide. You can quit eating fish and think you're going to be okay. You can change your diet and say, not me. My sister died, my brother died, my cousin died, not me. You can pull away from me all you want. You can attack me, you control me, you can do whatever you want at your own peril. Go ahead. Go ahead, because so many had the chance. So many had the opportunity. Celebrities had the opportunity. They got so much money. Why didn't they use their money? Why didn't they use their money in the proper way? Let's freaking go against these people. The very people that are trying to kill me. Let's fight back, Crazy Train Ozzy. That's about the nuclear industry. How can I raise my boy with Oppenheimer's story? That's Sting. You know, anti-nuclearism. You know, I go on and on, Atlantic Fusion, anti-nuclearism, because what happened is their publicists, their people, their music, their art, they got rich on our backs. The great activism in the 70s and the 80s, we fought so hard in the 70s, 80s, we become in vogue. So they piggybacked on us and wrote songs about what we did. The Environmental Act of 1971, all these acts. And so they just played along and used us. They used us. Well, who's using who now? Who's using who now? Those very people are dropping like flies. They got all the money, they refuse to defend. They refuse to stand up. Who's playing who now? Who's playing who? So the nuclear cartel, they should have stayed in the fight. They had all the money, they had all the opportunity, thus they would have lived. The very people that are making them drop dead. They got them. They took them in, they baited them in, gave them fame and fortune, and just kill them and loot their wealth. Same old, same old, same old, same old. You know, Jean-Michel had it figured out. He died in 1988. How young was he? You know, heroin overdose. Huh, I wonder. Was it really? You think in the Jackson Pollock, the great American abstraction to the art wealth establishment in history. Really, there's only been a couple of them. Jackson Pollock, oh yeah. How did he die now? How young was he? What's he worth? Who owns his freaking portfolio? It's amazing how they get these guys. Incredible. Warhol? Was he connected? Warhol? Nope. Did he become connected? I don't know. Sure, freaking grab it. How did he die? They almost got me that way. I was in there ready for gallbladder surgery in the middle of the fucking night. You know, fill you full, bloat you full of water and freaking rupture you. You know, they settled that of court. They murdered him. Was it accident or not accident? It's been admitted. His family got money, you know, his brothers, because he had no children. You know, it's amazing, Prince. It's incredible. You know, it's insanity. Who's playing who? Who's playing who? Because they went along for the fortune and the fame, yet Patty Davis, perfect example. She's out there on the front all the time. She gets naked, goes in Playboy. She's anti-nuclear, everything, stands up in the face of, and then she goes after Will Ferrell for making fun of, dementia, my mother has dementia. It's a horrible freaking disease, and she's right about that. It's nothing to laugh at. It's terrible. And which so many people have it. More and more, autoimmune. What do you think caused all that? Nuclear fallout? Oh, yeah, you can look it up. You can go right to the 1930s when this whole madness started, and the open-air tests. Autism, multiple sclerosis, dementia, it all fucking skyrockets. I wonder why. We radiate the earth, the most toxic poison in the history of humanity, Madame Curie, deniers. And they're not about, they can't open the freaking Pandora's box. If they award the workers money for the DOE, the DOE comes out and admits their lies and their malice. And it's amazing. Isn't it amazing the courts all go along? Isn't it amazing the politicians go along? The thing that kills me is the media stars. Video killed the media star. Look that up. Look at those crazy videos. I did that with a central line hanging out of my jugular. Video killed the media star. Video. This is a fearless fight. They kill anti-nuclear activists. These trolls and these rats, they hire people to do it. For real. They killed 84 in India alone. The fight's on. Taiwan, they've killed mass amounts. China, they've killed unbelievable. South Korea, they've killed. There's major anti-nuclear protests and wars going on. I mean, some of the biggest protests in human history are going on. Oh, we don't get to see it here. Our media. They kill them. They do the same thing in the United States. I know that. I know when I took this on years and years ago, they will kill you, Kevin. What is the irony? What is the odds? It's going to give you leukemia, it's going to give you leukemia, it's going to clean. When Hillary's email says we've got to attack nuclear, people that are telling the truth of Fukushima, because they backed out, says fuck the Navy. I mean, think about if people really knew the truth of Fukushima. They said panic and riots in the streets. Oh, yeah, which we need. Think about the military, if the Navy ever wakes up. How many Navy personnel were in Japan till they radiated the fuck out of, which is going to mow fucking decades off their lives, all of them. Decades. We're talking hundreds of thousands. What if they ever woke up? Think about it. Teddy Roosevelt says after he went in and threw in Cuba, He threw the Spanish royal family out. Him and his Rough Riders, much gay. He says, I'm going into Canada next. McKinley says, no, you're not. Yeah, I am. I'm going into fucking Canada. Fuck the Queen. What's she going to do about it? That's ours. Fuck her. Fuck the royal family. You know, he knew the royal, kicking them out. He said straight up, what's she going to do about it? Bring her on. Let's have the Revolutionary War, Hamilton. Bring them on. Bring them on. Let them float over. Let's bring the redcoats over here again. Bring them on. So he wouldn't let him do it. What happened to McKinley? Ryder went it. Boom. The Queen has him assassinated. But anarchists, it's an unarguable fact. The Queen freaking had him killed. The Great Terror president standing on the Great Terror program. Queen, you know, Queen Victoria whacked him. And Teddy becomes freaking president. So think about it now. Say if they broke ranks. We're going after the royals. You know, fuck Obama, fuck Clinton, fuck Bush, fuck Reagan, fuck all these globalist puppets. They just played on the fucking CIA fucking rats. Look up fucking, I think Prescott Bush. Go to Prescott's grandfather. Russell and he's guys started Skull and Bones, the nuclear freaking cartel. Skull and Bones are the ones who started the whole nuclear industry. Hijacked freaking, oh yeah, Russell's baby. The biggest power apparatus, Price Anderson, all the money. That's the congressional act that you pay for it all. They just loot. The Pentagon just gives them trillions. The freaking budget gives them trillions. They don't have to pay for any of it. The IEA gets hijacked. The UN, no royals. Huh, they completely hijack it. They have veto power. The IAEA has veto power of the UN, no royals. Yep, look it up. Total. You know what kind of sums of money where the deer and the antelope used to play in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan's government, Westinghouse, and Toshiba all joined together, and they're one company that own the nuclear reactors at Toshiba. And Barack Obama flies with those CEOs to Brazil right after Fukushima happens with the greatest freaking entourage in human history. It's unarguable. It's proof. I mean, this isn't conspiracy stuff. This is just, you know, FOIA documents proof. Every freaking one. They admit it right in your face. Yet you're going to go to Alienville. You're going to go to freaking all these freaking hyperboles that you can't prove. You know, Johnny got his gun. You're going to get a freaking AK, and that's going to save you. Cancer's going to kill you. It's going to kill us all. I mean, the cancer epidemic's on. The CDC comes out in themselves, calls it the cancer epidemic. It's on. The mortality rate for the first time in American history is not increasing, decreasing. How can that be with bypass surgery, with organ transplants, with modern medicine? How can that possibly be? You know, childhood leukemia is 98% freaking curable now. How about breast cancer? 99% freaking curable. They cut off your breast. How can longevity be going down? Yeah, look at Prince. Oh yeah, real drug addict. Real drug. You know. It's just the ridiculous sin. He lived a very healthy lifestyle. He was vegan. Look at him. I mean, he looked 30 years old. He looked incredible. You know, he said he got sick. You know, he was been sick for a little while. Just that's how it plays. You don't feel well. It's just your common cold. You know, you got the flu. You can come out of it. You know, stomach's aching you. Cancer in his. I'll bet you the eye test when he comes out and there was some cancer in his body. Fukushima. You know, purple rain. The ironies. Purple rain. Purple plutonium rain. Hellwater. Play backwards. He was a visionary. That's what visionaries do. They're able to write about the future when they don't even know they're doing it. That's what he did. That's what he did. His classical freaking musician father and his incredible, brilliant mother. Look what they created. I mean, one of the greatest musicians in human history. Compared to Mozart, oh yeah. I'll quote Beethoven. I did the gig in Vienna, Beethoven, on 200 anniversary of Fukushima. It takes a big heart to make a good suit. Led with Beethoven, Kevin Blanch. It's not the painting of the soup can, it's the idea to paint the soup can, but then you have to paint the fucking soup can. I stood in Vienna. He walks through the crowd. There's the royal family, all roads lead to Vienna. The Roman Empire in Vienna. Austrian-Hungarian Empire. There's the royal family. He's standing there with all his friends. He pulls his own wig off. The new wig, hairspray. He walks right through the freaking royal family, and they're like, are you crazy? You have to step aside for the royal family. They will kill you. He looks right at all his friends, and he says, they should step aside for me. We need people like that. They should step aside for me. And I will say this to every rat, troll, everything goes after me. You should step aside for me. For the lights, you have no clue what you're up against. Go ahead at your own peril. At your own peril, rats and trolls, at your own peril. Be careful, because this karma is a new kind of karma. This is Fukushima plutonium karma. But the karma is the people that leukemia has mass murdered and slaughtered. Oh, it's in me. Take that force on at your own peril, because when you die, and it will kill you, your light, your jewel is gone already.